Reasons you should play the Colle-Zukertort instead of the London system. Number 1, you actually get to attack every single game. For example, here's Caruana evaporating a 26-60 rated player in only 23 moves. As you can see, the Colle-Zukertort is not only easy to understand for beginners, but viable all the way up until the very top level of chess. Another advantage of this kind of attacking chess is that you get way more tactics, and it's much better for improving at the game. Reason number 2, no one's going to be ready for it. If we look only at chess players under 1400, we'll see right away that the second most common line is the London. And at the very beginner level, it actually overtakes the Queen's Gambit as the main line of 1d4. If you're a beginner, you're not spending too much time studying. But if there's one opening you are going to study, it's going to be the London system. Reason number 3, it's easier to understand. Middle games in the London tend to be closed positions, full of these will they, won't they queen trade scenarios, and slow strategic battles. A lot of the times, beginners playing the London will end up going to 70, 80 move games, but the Colle is much simpler. First of all, in the Colle, we would never want to queen trade, because the goal of the Colle is to checkmate our opponent. So we'll never want to trade queens unless we're up material. In the Colle system, all the way into the middle game, we're pretty much always playing for the exact same attacking themes, going for a huge kingside attack and trying to checkmate our opponent. So how is the Colle-Zukertort played? Well, identically to the London, we're always going to play the same sequence of moves. If you're following along, which I'd recommend you do, I'm on the elitechess.org database, and I currently have my filter set to 1400 and under and rapid and longer. That way we'll see what you guys will actually face. No need to get into theory here. So at the beginner level, about 60% of players are playing symmetrically, 11% of players going for knight f6, and most other stuff transposes. What comes next after d4? I'm glad you asked. Knight f3. Move number 1 is d4, move number 2 is knight f3. Our next move is always going to be e3. The exact same pawn chain on the dark squares as the London, the key difference being our bishop is trapped inside of it because we would rather fianchetto and use it in our attack. The next move of the system is going to be bishop d3, getting our bishop to an ideal attacking position for when our opponent castles on the kingside. Our next move is always going to be b3. b3 prepares our fianchetto, but there's also a second very important reason we're playing it. In lines where they don't play knight c6, they'll have the option of a pawn break on c5, and if our opponent plays c5, they can play c4 and kick our bishop. This would result in the game getting a lot more boring, which we would not want, so it's important to remember that b3 also prevents the c4 push. The next move we play for is always going to be fianchettoing our bishop, bishop b2, and then finally we will castle. Our final minor piece to develop will be this knight, which will come to d2. We'll want to do this whenever our knight is pinned, or say they deliver a check, you'd want to block with our knight. So what is our middle game plan in the Colle-Zukertort system? The first thing we're always going to want to look for in the middle game is an opportunity to get a knight on e5. Now, why are we doing this? And why is it such a priority? First of all, it's a really good knight and is going to help us a lot in our attack, as well as blocking any attempts at e5. Reason number 2, they can't capture it, because you may notice while they have 2 attackers, we have 2 defenders. The primary purpose of bishop to b2. In fact, we would love it if they captured. First of all, the most common capture blunder is a fork, which is pretty funny, but say they capture with bishop. An important theme to remember here is this idea of capturing back on e5 and kicking the opponent's knight. If you're an attacking player, your worst enemy is always going to be a knight on f6. Our goal in the Colle-Zukertort is to checkmate our opponent, not to play for some 80 move endgame. So we need this knight gone, and pretty much whenever they let us kick this knight, we will be much better. Back to this position with knight e5. Another important theme to remember is going to be creating what's called a Stonewall Knight with f4. This will further reinforce our knight, and if they ever capture back, we can open up our rook while kicking their knight, making it even more disastrous for our opponent. Playing f4 is also going to allow us to perform a rook lift. A rook lift is simply when you bring your rook up and into the attack. After all, rooks are very powerful pieces worth 5 points of material, but they usually don't see any use until the endgame. But in the Colle-Zukertort, we can lift it up and we can use it in all kinds of different mating patterns. Now, the first thing that you should do when you start to learn any opening should be studying a couple of Grandmaster games. That way you can get an idea of how the opening is supposed to be played. And it's in that spirit that I'd like to quickly go through the game Caruana versus Tari, where Fabiano Caruana is playing the Colle-Zukertort system. But really quick, if you made it this far, make sure to drop a like on the video to help me fight all this London system propaganda, and leave a comment if you're interested in a full series on this opening system. I've played it a good bit, and I really wouldn't mind making one. So we have our first 2 moves out of the way, and our opponent has a pawn on d5 and their knight on f6. Our third move is of course e3, then bishop d3. Afterwards, we're of course going to play b3, and this is a great example of a line where b3 is also very effective against preventing c4. For example, if we started by castling, they would have the option to play c4, forcing our bishop back to a much more passive square. So to avoid that, of course, we play b3, getting ready to fianchetto. The 5th move in the Colle-Zukertort system, knight c6, playing a very standard, solid setup. Caruana starts by castling, a perfectly fine move order. Bishop d6, Caruana fianchettos, and our opponent castles, locking in their king to the king side of the board. Now a question, would we play knight e5 here? I think knight e5 would be perfectly fine here personally. Afterwards we could support it with f4, but Caruana decides to start by developing his other minor piece, never a bad idea. b6, preparing to fianchetto their bishop, and then now that Caruana has developed all of his minor pieces, it's here that he decides to play for knight e5. Bishop e7 of course, and f4, creating a Stonewall Knight. Rook c8, a great move, over defending the knight, but also preparing the rook to be on this open file once it opens up. And here Caruana plays a very important move, a3. So there's a very common theme in these middle games where black is able to swing out their knight to b4 and trade off our good bishop, which we could use for attacking. a3 is a very thematic move in the Colle-Zukertort we can use to avoid that knight maneuver. Knight e7, rotating another knight in to defend the king, and queen f3, lining up the queen with the undefended bishop, supporting a potential g4 push, supporting e4, and of course developing the queen, a very solid move. Afterwards, rook c7, defending the bishop that was not defended before, queen h3, further bringing the queen into the attack on the king side, opening up the f3 square possibly for a rook lift, and finally of course removing this x-ray that our opponent had, b5 trying to find counterplay, but it all falls apart because we have some very thematic tactics after d takes c5. You may notice once this pawn is gone, our bishop is opened up and ready to trade off this f6 knight I was talking about earlier that we hate so much as attacking players, because afterwards we're mating our opponent. He captures back with bishop, Caruana plays the very interesting knight c6, once again threatening to remove the defender and mate his opponent, captures, and of course black cannot capture back without getting mated and has to play h6. Queen g4, very simple attacking chess. g6, back to h3, provoking more weaknesses on the king side. h5, b4, this is a grandmaster move that I would never find in 10 million years, but we want to move our queen from the defense of the e-pawn. So I assume his idea was to force either a commitment to attacking this pawn or defending the knight. He makes the wrong choice, freeing up Caruana's queen to go to h4, making this pin much more deadly with no real way to break it. Rook e8 over defending the knight, and Caruana just walks his queen in and plays for checkmate. And if you can get amazing attacking games like this on a 2660, then I'm sure you'll be able to get even cooler ones against the beginners that you play. It's time to let go of the London system, folks.